The government shutdown finally coming to an end has been a massive mask-off moment for the Democrats. Let's take a look. The longest government shutdown in US history looks like it's finally finishing up now that 8 Democrats broke ranks and jumped over to the Republican side of things. And you would think this is good news. Nope.
I want an opposition party. I think the Democrats caved.
Government shutdowns are always a waste of time. I mean, this one especially, considering the deal that was reached was the exact same one on the table at the start of this mess. But worse than other wastes of time, this is a waste of time in which people get hurt. While Democrat senators got to make big, important speeches and go on C-SPAN and get told how brave they were being by media elites, government workers missed paychecks and people went without welfare payments. Government shutdowns aren't the sign of some healthy, committed opposition. They are the sign of tantrum-throwing toddlers given too much power. So to me, it's a real mask slip moment when something as reckless and stupid as a shutdown ends and people are upset. It shows that owning Trump is more important to you than people being able to get a paycheck. And we should all remember that next time Democrats try to paint themselves as the party of the working class. Now, it's also interesting that the Democrats could hold the line as people went without SNAP payments, but after one weekend of travel chaos, which affects the middle and upper classes, they folded like a pretzel. You know, a real good moment for me in all this was how Stephen Colbert's crowd greeted the news of the shutdown ending.
I don't know if you've seen the newspapers today. It looks like the government shutdown is coming to an end.
See, that's the heart of America right there. That's where people are. But then Colbert's crowd control people must have walked around the bleachers with signs saying, remember which side you're on, because here's the reaction the next time he brings it up.
8 Democratic senators voted with Republicans to fund the government through January without any Affordable Care Act guarantees.
Boo. I also like how this goes, this shutdown is the Republicans' fault. This shutdown is the Republicans' fault. Hang on, how come the Democrats ended the shutdown? Okay, so now the knives are well and truly out. The Democratic elites are upset and they demand a blood sacrifice. Now, the anger is directed both at the breakaway senators and, of course, Senate Leader Chuck Schumer. Now, John Fetterman was one of the senators that broke ranks. Credit to The View, they actually had Fetterman on the show and gave him a chance to explain why he did so. I mean, it wasn't a softball interview. They did let him have it.
Bernie Sanders said the vote was a horrific mistake. Governor Gavin Newsom called it pathetic and a surrender. Poll after poll found more Americans on both sides of the aisle blaming Republicans. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene blamed the GOP. As you mentioned, Democrats had big wins last week, so you had momentum. Why give in now? Why bring a butter knife to a gunfight?
But here's John Fetterman giving the answer that shows, hey, he might actually care about people.
I promise you, this isn't a political game. It is viewed by many of us, but the reality is 42 million Americans now not sure where their next meal is going to come from, and because we vote like that, or people that haven't been paid for 5 weeks now, and that kinds of chaos. Those workers have to borrow more than $500 million, from their credit union just to pay their bills now. So for me, we're in the middle of this.
Hey, how about that? Thinking of something other than owning Trump. What a novel concept. And the rest of the anger, of course, goes to Chuck Schumer. Now, Chuck is the Democrats' leader in the Senate, and whichever way you want to spin this one, this has been a colossal failure for him. Because there are 2 schools of thought. Either one, he couldn't hold the line for his party and convince everyone to keep in the tent and keep the shutdown going for the good of the Democrats, which would make him not a leader. Or 2, he secretly organized for these Democrat senators to walk away because he knew the shutdown wasn't going to get anywhere and he needed an exit plan that didn't involve him going on camera and saying he lost to Trump, which makes him a leader who betrayed his own party. So it's no wonder people want him out. Now, the Democrats need to think about who's going to lead the Senate after the midterms.
I think Chuck Schumer, his days are over. If he cannot keep his caucus together, he needs to go. He needs to be replaced.
But what I like is the people defending Schumer. Okay, defending might be too strong a word for it, but let me frame it like this. In politics, you can't fight in front of the kids. The party needs to be seen as one continuously operating machine that's just everyone getting along, everyone pulling in the same direction. So behind the scenes, the Democrats can scheme and backstab, but in front of the world, we're all just one big happy family. It's like after Biden's infamous debate, all the Democrats were like, yeah, yikes, but he's our guy, while texting everyone they knew he had to go. So it's the same here with Schumer. Bernie Sanders went on Rachel Maddow this week and offered this glowing endorsement of Chuck Schumer.
So you can argue, and I can make the case that Chuck Schumer has done a lot of bad things, but I think getting rid of him, who's going to replace him? Who is going to replace him?
I gotta say, if my bosses ever go, yeah, this guy's videos are terrible, but switching him out is gonna take such a hassle, take me out back and put me down like a horse, it's over. But apparently, this is a full-throated defense and a flag behind which everyone can rally.
The discussion of replacing Chuck Schumer came up, and Senator Sanders basically said, who would want that job? And that's the truth of it. There is no more wasted breath at this particular moment in our governing than the question of Chuck Schumer's future. He has the vote of every Democratic member of the Senate. He will continue to have that. There's not a single Democratic member who's raised his or her hand who said, I don't want him to be leader and I want to be leader. And those two things have to happen. Someone has to say, it's me. And the people who are saying, oh, let's get rid of Chuck Schumer, I'm waiting for the name. They have yet to say, well, who's going to do it? Who do you have? Who have you convinced? And who's going to do it better than Chuck Schumer?
There you go. This guy is our leader until we can find literally anyone to put up their hand to replace him. I mean, isn't that the kind of endorsement we're all craving for ourselves? Schumer is absolute toast, but at least he put his chips on the table with this massive government shutdown and got absolutely nothing out of it. All right, that's it for me this week. Remember to like and subscribe to Sky News Australia so you don't miss any of my videos or any of the videos from the other excellent commentators we have here at Sky.